guys, it is Coaster Watch here, and today I'm going to be giving you my full thoughts and review of Raptor, the B&M inverted roller coaster at Cedar Point. And let me just tell you, I am an absolute huge fan of this coaster. This is one of the most intense coasters that I've been on to date. I'd even go as far as saying this is the most intense B&M that I've ridden. This coaster is just great. It is so much fun. I absolutely love this ride. It ranks really highly for me, and I'd even go as far as saying this is a top 5 ride at Cedar Point and one of the most intense coasters I've ridden overall. This coaster is just great. Everything was just executed so well. Every inversion has the perfect amount of whip. There are a few flaws to the ride, though, I will say that. But anyways, you enter through your Raptor sign, go into the station. This coaster has relatively little to no theming. Just like pretty much most coasters at Cedar Point, pull down your over-the-shoulder restraints. And then you enter up your 100, I believe 40-foot lift hill, go down your 120-foot drop, I believe. And this is where my layout review begins. So if you're sitting in the back row, at the first part of the drop, you're going to get some great whip. But then also you're going to get airtime as the drop continues. I'd say on other B&Ms like Kumba and Montu, you get really good whip if you're in the back row. But on Raptor, you get whip and you almost get airtime. So this is my favorite B&M looper drop by far. So then you enter this first vertical loop, and this is a pretty okay loop. It's not my favorite, not my least favorite either. It's a really well executed loop. And then you go through the 0G roll. This thing is absolutely wicked. It is freaking nuts how crazy this 0G roll is. One of my all-time favorite 0G rolls, probably my favorite 0G roll in the park. Yeah, you heard that, Steel Vengeance. This thing is just executed so well. It's my favorite 0G roll. What else can I say about it? So much whip. You get airtime. You get launched from your seat. It is crazy. And then you enter through the Cobra roll, which again, this is my favorite Cobra roll I've experienced. Well, maybe number 2 behind Kumba. But this is just a Cobra roll that I think all Cobra rolls should try to mimic this one. Because it is just so whippy. You have leg-numbing intensity. And there's just so much whip on both sides of it. It is nuts how much whip there is. And then you come up and you hit the mid-course brake run. So then you go through another drop. Then you hit the corkscrew. Go through a little bit of a meandering section, kind of a weaker point in the ride. Then you go through another corkscrew, which these corkscrews aren't bad. Not really my favorite corkscrews. Corkscrews aren't my favorite element in the world either. So the fact they put 2 of them on here just kind of bums me out a little bit. But hey, I mean, they were both still pretty whippy. And then you enter through one of the most hyped part of the rides, the double helix at the end. And I gotta say, I liked it. Well, I wouldn't say it's overhyped, but I wouldn't say it incredibly impressed me either. Again, it's a great helix. My legs went numb. Overall, good point in the ride. Then you enter through a little bit of a jerky moment as you transition into the final brake run. So overall, pretty much every element was just executed so perfectly. Like, this thing is just absolutely crazy how intense this coaster is. I'm in love with this intensity, and it's whipped throughout the entire ride. And what else can I say about it? Raptor's just a pure fun ride. My one complaint about it is the comfort of the ride, because it's not exactly the smoothest. It's not rough. I'd say maybe like 8 out of 10 or 8.5 out of 10 for smoothness. And also there's a few jerky moments in the ride. Some people say the transition into the final brake run's pretty jerky, which I will agree with that. Some people say there's also some other jerky moments on the ride, but if you keep your head forward, you won't really get any head bang. It's not that bad. Some people over-exaggerate. Some people really like to over-exaggerate with older B&Ms. And if you're sitting in the middle seats, it's actually really, really smooth. But if you're sitting on the right-hand side or the left-hand side, it's a little bit rougher. You're definitely going to get more whip. But I've heard the left side is a lot worse, so I'd say sit in the middle seats if you want a smooth ride, then on the right side if you want a whippy ride. Definitely in the front or back row by far. I only got back right rides on this thing, but overall, Raptor is an intense, I'd even go as far as saying a flawless B&M invert. It's definitely not flawless, I actually take that back. But overall, I'm giving Raptor a 9 out of 10. It is just such a good ride, and I want to hear your thoughts on Raptor. I want to hear what your favorite B&M invert is, and explain why, because B&M inverts, I think, all should have been made like this, because this thing just has so much whip, and I absolutely love the ride. So be sure to drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more content. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate the support. And until next time, guys, I'll see you all later. Peace.